Hi, and welcome to the Triad Golf Podcast. I'm John Brazier, the publisher of Triad Golf Magazine, Triad.com, and I'm with my co-host, Jay Allred, and the general manager of Greensboro National Golf Club, Bruce Moeller. For those of you who have seen my notes on social media, you may have noticed that, or may remember that I had said that either Jay Allred or Paige Spiranak would be my co-host. Well, I know for the few of you who are disappointed, we couldn't get Paige to do it. Jay had offered to wear a blonde wig and impersonate Paige, but for a few big reasons, we decided that he wouldn't fool anybody. So anyway, we've got Jay here, and what our purpose is with this podcast is to talk about Triad Golf, talk about the various courses in the area you can play. We've got a lot of great courses in the Triad area, private and public, and we want to do that. We want to share news about what's going on with personalities. We've got a lot of great players in the area, but for the most part, we're going to talk about local golf courses and your opportunities to play. And we'll also talk about, places you can go within a short drive, or maybe on occasion, just places you haven't heard of around the country where you can play golf. So today we're at Greensboro National. As I said, this is Bruce Moeller, and we're going to talk about Greensboro National. First of all, let me introduce Bruce. Bruce, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
And Jay too. Jay?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, so we're off to a great start here.
You can call me Paige.
Can I call you Paige?
You can call me Paige.
Well, I'm not. If I don't wear my glasses, maybe. Okay. Well, first, let's talk to Bruce a little bit about Greensboro National. We're sitting here in the very large, I would say, restaurant or bar here at Greensboro National, overlooking the 18th and the 9th holes, and it's a pretty warm December day as we talk, and you can see the bent grass is still green on the putting surfaces. Bruce has been here. Well, let me just have you introduce yourself, Bruce. You've been here more than a year now, I know.
Yeah, I started here in January of 23, so almost 2 years now.
Almost two.
I came from Jacksonville, Florida. I was at a five-diamond resort for 25 years of my life, and then I moved on to a different GM position, and Byron Donnelly Development just have been amazing, and brought me up here, and I've loved it. This has been a lot of fun, just getting to know the area, the people, and like to your point, I think the golf courses, we're very spoiled here. We have what I would call like the greatest greens on the planet, and we have a great demand of golf. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun for me, a new beginning in a new location with a whole lot of new people. So I've loved it.
I guess the obvious question that you get a lot of times is, have you adjusted to the weather?
Yeah. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, I never enjoyed Christmas morning at 84 degrees. So yeah, we're not quite 84 here, but this has been a little different for me. My whole life's been in the South, and coming up here, and not necessarily Wisconsin weather, but certainly, Four Seasons has been welcoming for me and my family. We've enjoyed it.
For the folks who haven't played at Greensboro National, this is, I guess, what we would call an upscale public access golf course. And it's got, as you can see, this facility, it's got a bar, it's got a restaurant, it's got a big pro shop that's well stocked, it's got a great driving range, it's got a big putting green. It's pretty much got all that you might want as a public golfer. And, you've made some changes here. Tell us in the hospitality side. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, we've had a great couple years. We've been very fortunate, and our corporate office has been 100% on board with us making improvements back on the golf course. So whatever the monies we've made have been back to, spending a lot of money on the parking lot. Just a lot of the details that I think have, over time have kind of gone overlooked. But yeah, we've done a lot of new different things with the golf course. We had probably the busiest couple of years we've had in some time as far as rounds of golf goes. We've spent, probably 30% more on golf course related projects to make sure that, everything, no one's going to come here. I have no job if my golf course isn't the best. So that's number one, priority number one. Greens have to be great, fairways, tees. So we got a lot of projects here in the next year, 5 years that are going to improve everything that has to do with the condition of the golf course, the overall experience, having a backdrop to give people a warm welcome and a warm goodbye has been something that's been very well received here. But yeah, having a lot of new staff members really get on board with the service part of it. Like, we want everyone to play your 4-hour round of golf, but also understand that when you come here, you're going to be greeted with respect. We're really happy to have the customers that we have, and then we give them a warm goodbye. Yeah, everything as far as the customer experience goes has been elevated, to say the least.
Well, I know, when I've come in the last time, you're greeted by you don't get your clubs out of your car.
Right.
You go to the bag drop, and then somebody takes the clubs out. Is that right? And that's a complimentary service.
It is 100% complimentary, and same thing when you leave. When you finish your round, we get your bags out of the cart, we put them in the bag drop, and you can come in here, have a beer, enjoy this wonderful setting. I mean, we're a little unique that there's a lot of golf courses, public golf courses, don't necessarily have this space. They have a snack bar, or they don't have a great like a turn or something like that. This is a major dining space that we host at a lot of events, weddings, receptions, corporate parties, Christmas parties. Like, we're full all year. So
and as you showed me earlier today, you've got a big space upstairs too, that you're getting ready to re-unveil, I guess. So to speak.
Yeah. It's been a while, but we've got a full dining room upstairs with an outdoor patio overlooking the same view that we have here, just 30 feet higher, and we'd like to utilize, and I think there's a lot of like cigar and bourbon nights with heaters upstairs that I think we could really capitalize on and host for the community here. So
and you've got an outdoor patio upstairs,
correct?
That looks out. That's great.
Yeah.
So and you also, I believe, have Friday night dinners.
Yeah, so we kind of started that back up again. I guess it's been a few years, but we've had sold out 3 weeks in a row now that we had almost turning people away. Which we don't want to do, but from a reservation side of it, we've had a lot of success with these dinners. We have live music, we have complimentary wine tastings. It's been a very cool environment for sure.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about the golf course. We were talking beforehand about my favorite hole being number 7, and you said that you're maybe going to bring some attention to that hole. For those who don't know, number 7 is a short par 4, pretty wide open off the tee, although you can't hit it too far to the left. And then you have this short approach to a green that's perched above a finger of the big lake, and it runs right up there, and it's up on bulkhead. And if you don't carry it, I don't know. You could probably tell me. I would say 15, 20 feet onto the green, you're going to get this agonizingly slow roll back, and it's going to drop back into the lake.
Yep. So this time of year, when the grass isn't growing, or Bermuda grass isn't growing, it's kind of hard to prevent that from happening. In the summertime, we can just not cut the grass before the bulkhead and trap some of those balls coming off. But golf course is great. I mean, this is it's a great test for the great golfer. It's a very fun and fair challenge based on the tees that you select. But I think overall, this is as scenic of a golf course as you're going to have in this area. You've got a lot of topographical changes. You've got some really tough tests, like number 12 green has a big bowl on the front right side of the green, but it's a fun and fair test for every skill level, and we are in the process of adding probably, I think, 10 new tee boxes to kind of stretch it out a little bit and go almost to 7,300 yards and bring a couple of pretty big events here. But all in all, the golf course is great. I mean, Vicente Hernandez and his crew, he's been here for 26 years, does a great job. But they do marvelous things throughout the year. Even like, off season like this, they're doing so many projects. Like on 7, for example, like they go down there and they clean up everything in that marshy area. So as far as golf course goes, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. This is as good as it gets.
I don't know if I would. I don't know. I always joke about they ought to fix that number 7 green so that my ball doesn't trickle off. But I think that would take away some of the.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun a week later.
Yeah. hit it
There's
past.
something to talk about at the bar and everything. That's one of the big things. You know, we used to hold our tournament of champions out here, and we'd invite the club champions from all the clubs around and play here, and it was always a really challenging tournament. And a lot of times, it was around even par. We normally had wind, because we played it in March and everything, and we'd normally get some good wind out here. And I mean, it can be a real challenge, and the greens are really large, so I think your bogey golfer can still feel like they're going to get a lot of greens in regulation. They may 3-putt it, because they're so far away from the hole, but they feel good about getting a green in regulation. But yeah, I mean, and we brought my high school girls team out here. It just really, I think it's one of the true courses that can allow different levels of players to play and enjoy the golf course.
Jay, this is the first show, so I've made some mistakes already. But let me introduce Jay a little bit better. Jay is the founder of Triad Golf Magazine. This publication right here is what it looks like now. I made a few tweaks when I took over, but Jay ran an outstanding business for almost 30 years and was very successful. And he is also the boys and girls coach at Reagan High School outside Winston-Salem. And how many girls titles is state titles?
We've got 3 girls state team titles, and then 4 individual titles, and 18 straight conference titles, and 7 out of 8 state records.
Yeah. So, he's had, I know Macy Pate at Wake Forest played there, girl at Virginia Tech, Morgan Ketchum,
Anna Howerton.
Anna Howerton at High Point University, and these are players that are still
They're still
young.
playing in college, right?
Yeah.
And,
So
Ella Reed is at Pembroke, and so yeah, we've got quite a few out there now.
And Jay's daughter Victoria was also a very good player. She's a few years beyond high school now, but
Right. She's about
yeah.
10 years outside of high school.
Don't watch the show, Victoria. Your dad doesn't know how old you are.
It took a while to figure that one out. But the story everybody likes is my youngest daughter.
Yeah.
They go, does she play? I said, well, she shot even par at age 9 and said, I'm retired.
Wow.
She never loved golf, but
Yeah.
it was funny. A few years ago, I had her teaching with. She needed some community service, not for criminal reasons, but she was going to graduate school and needed some.
Yeah.
You had to clarify certain things. And
know the family.
So I got her working with the first tee, and it's all girls kind of thing they had for girls around like 9, 10, 11 years old by the time she quit playing golf.
Wow.
And she come back and one day and she goes, I'm just trying to wrap my head around things. And I said, like, what do you mean? She goes, that I was a golf phenom and I blew it.
Oh.
And she goes, I just never realized I was that good because, her sister was 3 years older, and then her sister was always playing up. So, she's in elementary school and seeing her sister playing with high school girls, and well, I could never do that. But she was going out there with those girls, and, they would say, let me see you hit it. And she'll rip it about 230, and, and they go, how do you do that? She goes, I just turn back and turn through.
Huh.
And that's what I do with my kids. That was always what I would tell them to do, turn back and turn through. Now, I would tweak things,
Simple, right?
but they wouldn't kind of recognize,
Right.
they wouldn't focus on, let's say, that there was a certain swing thought other than turning back and turning through.
Yeah, I've heard that the young kids are the best putters because they don't worry about it. They just kind of do it. They don't get nervous.
So my daughter was playing one time in South Carolina, University of South Carolina's course, and she is struggling putting, and this other dad comes up. He goes, man, I watched your daughter for years. She'll be great. She's just having trouble putting today. He says, I got a son. Now, he's 8 years old, and he makes everything. And I said, son, what do you think about when you're putting? Are you thinking it's downhill, thinking the grain? What? He goes, I just think about knocking it in the hole.
See you roll it, hold it.
Yeah.
Someone told me that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who missed a 3-foot putt for birdie the last time I played on the second last hole, I'm envious of that.
Yeah.
That not being just focused, not worrying about missing it. But anyway, Bruce, back to this golf course, you've got great bent greens. I've had bent greens for a long time, and we were talking. I said, the one thing I notice about the new Bermuda greens is they're really firm. They don't make ball marks, and that's something that happens at bent places. And we were talking, you actually have people who go out and fix them.
Yeah, I mean, this is, since I got here, that's been one of the biggest things I heard. Just nonstop, and the greens are great, but there's a lot of ball marks on them. So we made it a point here, since I got here, to make sure that we've got a group of people, not just golf maintenance, but our staff that goes on a daily basis and they have a contest. They have like these pods, and 3 people per pod, cart guys, starters, golf professionals that actually go on the golf course on a daily basis and fix, and we award them for who has the best 3 greens. So this has been well received from our end of it, and this is, to me, good bent grass is better than any other putting surface, in my opinion. And when you have that product, you have to keep it as good as you possibly can. So it's a point of emphasis for us as a staff to always make sure that we're doing everything we can. We have, golfers as a whole don't always fix their ball marks, right? That's an epidemic.
We don't want to encourage that behavior.
Yeah, no, it's an epidemic in our business. It has been forever. That's something that we have to do. So we have it on the GPS screens. We have it on the little information board on the carts. The starters tell them. We have it on our email confirmations. Please repair ball marks. You can tell people until you're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, it's our job to get it done. So we want people to do the best they can to help us maintain the best golf course conditions we can, but at the end of the day, we're proud of what we have.
Have you considered like an airplane flying over with the little tail thing, like at Myrtle Beach,
We should.
And fly around, just every once in a while.
What's your favorite hole here, Bruce?
I don't know that I've been asked that, John.
7.
We've already talked about 7.
I love 18. There's nothing. Me personally, I love 18th hole being a par 5. That always gives you that chance for birdie to finish your round. I don't know that I have necessarily one favorite hole. I think there's probably 6 or 7 that catch my eye wonderfully, especially like now that we're extending some of these tee boxes. Like number 5 is going to be my favorite hole for sure. We've got a tee box that's going to be probably 80 yards back of where it used to be.
Wow.
And we've removed some trees to make it so the hole is playable.
It's a great hole, and it's downhill.
Yeah.
And it's accessible from the front. So if it's exceptionally long, you can roll the ball on
Correct.
at 5. Which is,
it's going to be close to 500 yards.
Yeah.
But it is, like you mentioned, downhill. But just it almost seems like that tee box should have always been there. It's on top of a mound behind 4 green. It's a beautiful looking hole. You got the trees behind the green that in the fall I'm sure is going to be a very scenic hole. And then you can't say anything bad about 6, 15. There's just a lot of very scenic holes that I think almost like looking backwards on the hole is it's pretty cool to see.
and you have good finishing holes on each side that are on both sides and traverse a big lake. I don't know how big the lake is. You probably know that, right?
It's
big.
Yeah.
So 80 acres. I would think.
16, 17, and 18 are great finishing holes for sure.
Yeah.
16 in the fall again with the trees surrounding it. We got a new tee box on 16 coming that's going to be kind of back in the woods a little bit, but that'll be like a 215-yard carry.
Yeah, and that's over like wetlands.
Yeah. It's going to be great. We're really excited.
That's a beautiful hole.
Yeah.
So one other thing I wanted to ask you about, which I think is great, is Byron Development, which owns this property, has run a first responders tournament of the Triad for 7-8 years now.
It'll be 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about the donation this
It's
year.
awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. Like this year was a little bit bittersweet. So, my first year last year running it was great that we used to have all the police cars, first responder vehicles, fire trucks with the ladders up, American flag, K9 units everywhere. It's just a really, really cool scene. This year, there's a hurricane. So when I made my calls, who's coming, who's bringing their trucks, K9 units, police cars, nobody came. We had 5 total because they were all doing their jobs. They were all in the west side of the state. But we did $36,000 in 22. We did $60,000 last year, and is Herb Parks and Patrick Donnelly Wood. We made $74,000 this year. This is strict donations. Like this is like after our food and beverage costs, the golf costs, tee gifts. It's 100% goes back to them. We had $74,000, and they said, well, let's round it up to 100. So a clean $100,000, of which 50,000 of that was here in the Triad, and the other 50 is going, and actually just went this last Wednesday to the west side of the state.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So, yeah.
And in regular years where there's not a disaster of that magnitude, all the money is in the Triad.
Yeah.
That's a great
And we
thing.
personally go, I personally go, or they come here with the big check presentation, the small check, the real one, but the large one also. And all that is on our website for the tournament, just to show people, hey, this money is really truly going there. So there's a lot of great sponsors from D.R. Horton, Eastwood. There's it's an awesome event.
Yeah, and in past years, you may remember that it was golf professionals, basically, who competed in a pro-am, and you changed that. So now people like me can play if we want to, and we can compete in this. And there's great prizes. First of all, you're donating to a great cause. You're getting 2 meals, I believe. 3 meals. Breakfast. I forgot about breakfast.
You're getting breakfast, lunch on the golf course, a really, really good dinner.
Yeah.
Very expensive tee gifts. Yeah. You're spending a lot, but you're getting a lot, and you're, like we said, for the cause.
And we're thinking what, September, October for
October
2025?
Yep. Yeah, it's the first Friday in October.
So keep a lookout for that. I know it's a ways away now, but it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, we'll start reaching out. We'll send out mass mailers probably here in January, the first week of January, to try to get, most of the people playing this is like companies, this is corporate dollars. There's a lot of individuals who also want to contribute to the cause. So, we'll put everything out to get this up and running.
Well, that sounds great. And if you want to play here at Greensboro National, what is the best way? I know you have a website.
Yep.
Is that the best way to do it?
It is. You can call us. We have some golf now tee times, but for the most part, just our website's going to give you the best rates with the dynamic pricing that we offer. There's great deals and values late in the afternoon on days like today, and then there's busy season. We've got a lot of different ways, but mainly going to our website or calling us is the best way.
What is? I know people will find it, Google it, but what is the website?
GreensboroNational.com, all spelled out.
All right.
Yep.
Well, hey, I appreciate you being with us, Bruce.
Thanks for having me.
This is a place I've probably played more than any other. I live in North Greensboro. It's a great golf course, so I encourage everybody to come out and see Greensboro National. And Jay and I are going to talk a little bit about what's going on locally. And Bruce, you're welcome to join in. First thing I wanted to mention was Maple Chase Country Club in Winston-Salem reopened recently.
Correct.
And Jay knows a lot about that. Jay plays there. So tell us a little bit about what's going on at Maple Chase, or what it looks like now.
It's just incredible. The Murphy family has really invested into a lot of enhancements there. They redid all of the drainage. They virtually rebuilt the entire
2 rows
infrastructure.
now,
right? You got. I haven't been told. It's a lot, though.
Yeah.
It's a few zeros and commas.
It's not an equity club, so
it's
hard to find out.
Hold on. That's right. It's not an equity club. Mr. Murphy did all of this, and there were no assessments.
That's impressive.
It is really impressive of what he's done. But they put all new underground drainage. They put dual row irrigation. They dug out all the greens. A lot of the greens were just push dirt greens with greens mix on top from the original Ellis Maples of 1954. So they dug them out. They put in the drainage in the bottom, the gravel in the bottom, the greens mix. They went with the 007 bent grass. Really big changes to number 3. Number 3 no longer crosses the creek, but the greens built up like a plateau. Number 5, a green that people complained about, has been fixed and corrected. A bunker added. I think they have 2 or 3 times the bunkers that they used to have. Because when the course was initially built, it had no bunkers,
Wow.
and then they added the bunkers the next year.
I think Paul Allen, the golf pro, told me that many of the greens were tweaked to provide more pin placements because
Correct.
there were lots of greens that only had a couple places you could put the pin.
Correct. You saw it, these greens are 70 years old, so anywhere there was a bunker on the high side of the green, it had gotten so sloped you couldn't putt on it because it dumped sand out for 70 years. And so, and so those have all been like leveled back out. 15 has been redone. It's angled. It's a diagonal green. 16 green that was virtually impossible. They would typically pin it on the front. But if you hit it to the front, you probably went off the green. So you really had to hit it to the middle, and it rolled back to that point.
Okay.
And everything. And then there was a back pin that was just brutal. And so all of that's been fixed, corrected, and there's no complaints. They've redid the driving range. And when I say they redid the driving range, they shaped the driving range. It's not like flat with a few greens. It's been shaped and contoured. The practice putting green has been totally redone. And I mean, it's really phenomenal. I think it's going to be one of the favorite places to play in Winston-Salem. And they're not going to allow guests until
April, I believe Paul said.
April,
Yeah.
So giving back to the members.
Oh yeah, when the course is closed, the members want to play. I understand all that, and Paul did say he would be generous to once April hits to all the clubs that gave reciprocals
Sure.
while their course was closed. I also wanted to talk Starmount Forest. I don't have a whole lot of information on it. We've reported it months ago, but it's shut down right now for major repairs. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I believe Chris Spence is working on that from Greensboro, who's an architect of his own, but he also specializes in redoing Donald Ross courses. He's worked on Sedgefield. He's worked on Forsyth. He's worked on, Roaring Gap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's just a few of them. So Chris is working on that. I think that's supposed to be open maybe in the summer. Starmount, is it going to be after that?
I think it's after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably September,
Bermuda
October.
Greens again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll
Bermuda
have-
Greens again, so it'll have to be summer.
Okay, well, we'll have more on that, and elsewhere, I guess Gillespie's someday going to have have their clubhouse repaired. I know they've been working on that, and the storm got that, and they've been working out of a building that the first tee is. That houses the first tee, so I know they're still open and everything. Everything's like normal, except you can't go to the pro shop.
Right, they had a real old like oak tree, I think, that crashed into the
roof.
pro shop. Yeah.
Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Tanglewood's operating also out of a temporary pro shop. They're going to build a nice new one, that I think is supposed to open sometime in 2025. Let's see what else. One other thing I was going to bring up, Jay's very involved in junior golf, and I know Bruce has been over the years. I saw the news that Blades Brown, who's my favorite name. Who would name their kid Blades? I mean, did they know something? That their kid was going to be a golfer or whatever. 17-year-old high school kid is going to play on the PGA Tour. He's going to try to earn his card.
Yeah, like Akshay Bhatia.
Yeah.
Akshay didn't go to college. He went pro, and he's finally starting to sow the seeds. I don't know that a kid of that talent that you really want to go to college and play college golf.
Yeah.
It really depends on the coach. Are they going to prepare you, or are they going to try to change some things and tweak some things in their mind that messes you up somewhat? So
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
I think so I don't disagree with this decision.
I haven't looked. I haven't seen if he's got a given name other than Blades. I think his name is Blades. Believe it or not, I don't know how his parents knew that. But
Well, my great nephew's name is Wilder Flowers,
okay, well,
and he's called Wild Man,
all right,
and it fits,
yeah.
kind of like Jelly Roll.
Okay, Jelly Roll was an old jazz guy in like 1910, the one I know. I know there's some other guy named Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll
right?
said his mom said he looked like a jelly roll.
Okay.
And he just grew into the name.
Okay.
Did grow into it.
Yes, he did. I wanted to talk a little bit about our magazine, which people are familiar with. It's been in pro shops for 30 years and other businesses. I showed it earlier. We have a new website. We've had a website, but we've got a new improved one, and it's getting ready to launch. I just got the admin page last night, so hopefully over Christmas we'll launch it. I wanted to tell you about some of the things that are on it right now. We're going to do some destination stories because everybody likes to read about places to play golf, and we've got a story on Branson right now. I went there about a month ago and played at several courses there, which had unbelievable golf courses that Johnny Morris, the owner of Bass Pro Shops, has built. And it's just it's an interesting place. Silver Dollar City, which is a lot like Dollywood, is there. In fact, it's better than Dollywood, I would say. It's owned by the same company as Dollywood, so I don't think Dollywood would be too mad that I say that. But it's been there since the Beverly Hillbillies were shooting episodes there in the 60s.
Wow.
So it's great. They got a big lake and a smaller lake, and there's a lot of attractions there, music theaters. Anyway, well, we had a great time playing at Johnny Morris's places, and one of them including a course that Tiger Woods company designed, tribute to Payne Stewart, which
Paynes Valley.
Nice golf course.
It's amazing.
But believe it or not, there's probably one or two there that might be just as good.
Really?
So, yeah, really good place. And went to Myrtle Beach last week and played some places. And you know what? Probably a lot of people out there know this, but great time to go to Myrtle Beach or Charleston or whatever, because you can probably get good weather and you can get outrageously cheap accommodations and golf. Bruce probably knows something about that, being from Jacksonville. I don't know if you had the same thing in Jacksonville or not.
Yeah, we did. I think weather's fairly similar there. I think Jacksonville weather's a little bit more like Atlanta weather than it is like Daytona or South Florida, that we do have somewhat of seasons. But yeah, this is a value season for sure. This isn't South Florida and Jacksonville that your peak rates are like November, December,
Right.
January, February. It's not that type of weather. So
I told you I played in Jacksonville during Gator Bowl week and froze my tail off.
it's brutal. Yeah, it can be. Gator Bowl can be 80, can be 20.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, but it was fun. We got lucky in Myrtle Beach and played 4 places: Pine Hills, Kings North, TPC in Myrtle Beach.
Nice.
And Grand Dunes, the resort course. And why I said that is they all have had bunker restorations recently, and it's great when golf courses are doing that with the new capillary.
We're getting ready to start.
So you're getting ready to do that too?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those things that, like, in the last 20 years, in my opinion, is like come to the forefront. Like, it seems like priority-wise, it's always greens, fairways, tees, and then somewhere down there is bunkers. But in today's world, it seems like a lot of people are really focusing on, hey, your bunkers need more rakes, or whatever the case might be. Anywhere in the last 20 years I've been, that's a topic of discussion. It's at the end of the day, it's still a hazard.
Well,
but we still need to have them. So we got a large project here to redo them.
Well, for duffers like me, I'm sorry, Jay, I'll let you. For duffers like me, the condition of the bunker means something, because if I'm in a bunker where it's just hard packed or there's too much sand, it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because in this area we have a lot of clay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You go down an hour to Pinehurst and it's all sand. So those bunkers drain wonderfully. And here, nothing drains. Mm-hmm. Like you have a 2-inch rain.
Right. And I think part of it might be the technology of the capillary coming in versus the old way of doing it. But, one of the things that happens here because of the clay is it gets rain, it doesn't drain well, and the clay and the water create the silt that rises up, and then it attaches to the sand, and it becomes harder. The sand, it kind of becomes almost like a concrete.
It is concrete.
Type
Don't
of
they
thing.
call it concrete?
Yeah.
Or capillary concrete?
Well, it's capillary concrete, but I'm talking about like the sand and everything. It sticks together and the granules become bigger, and so your club doesn't go through it, very well.
Yeah, that's a point of emphasis, I think, for most places to have. And, when I look at pictures when this place was born in 1995, and I look at pictures or video, you have, like, beautiful white sand bunkers, and there was never drainage put in. Mm-hmm. So if you don't drain bunkers, especially here, you're eventually going to get to the place.
Right.
So, that's a project that we're going to put drainage in all the bunkers here and put nice white sand.
So we have stories on Branson and Myrtle Beach travel on triadgolf.com right now. We've also got a feature on Lee Edwards, a girl that Jay knows. He's a tremendous young player who's going to be going to Western Kentucky University. She won back-to-back Class 4A titles individual at Western Guilford, or Northwestern Guilford.
Northwest Guilford, yeah.
Northwest Guilford, sorry about that. And beat a girl who is ranked number 4 or something in the nation from Charlotte, twice to win that. She's a very impressive, really nice girl, makes great grades, just
Super kid.
We wish the best for her, and I hope you read about that. We've also got a feature on Chris Harlow, who is the Carolinas PGA Senior Player of the Year, who's got an interesting story to tell. He was originally taught by Peggy Kirk Bell. He grew up in Pinehurst and had Peggy Kirk Bell as his teacher. So that's interesting. Chris is a great guy, and now he works at Precision Golf School. And we're going to have a story on Hallie Wilson, too, a girl from Louisville, who's lighting it up. She's got a few years left in high school, but she's done very, very well. And, lucky I have Jay here because Jay knows all these people.
Yep.
Right?
So, Hallie's a super kid. Another super most of these golfers are super kids. I mean,
they are.
They really are. You'll come across one or two every once in a while that has a lot of ego, but both of those kids are just fantastic and everything. And Hallie, she homeschools and everything, and she has just done phenomenal. So we'll see where she ends up. I guess this summer we'll probably find out where the interest is.
Jay, I think you told me she lives in your district. Do you have any NIL offers for her?
They made that law where we can have NIL offers, but we don't have any right now.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all I've got. This has been a good first episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we plan on doing this weekly. Once I guess we're here, 2025. So anyway, for Jay and for Bruce, thanks for watching Triad Golf Podcast, and please check us out on triadgolf.com.